In this video, you're gonna find out how to upset Germans by being a tourist in Germany. Let's go.
Mark here with Walter's World, and today we're in Freiburg, Germany, and today we're going to talk about how you could upset Germans when you come here as a traveler, because we want to make sure we're ingratiating ourselves with the locals, and we don't want to do the faux pas that might make our German friends a bit ärgerlich, a little upset, okay? And I think the first thing you need to realize, the first way you can upset a German is just being late. Germans are all about being pünktlich, about being on time. If you have a meeting and it's at 9 o'clock in the morning, that doesn't mean you show up at 9. That means you're in the office, you're in the room where the meeting's going to happen at 8:55. So right at 9 a.m., the questions start going, okay? So
The question is more like, is this rule more followed in corporate culture, or this is overall rule for a majority of Germans? Because he's mentioning like an working situation. Working situations, you need to be punctual in working situations, and most of them in normal working places. But what about day-to-day situations? What about that, my friend?
always be on time. And if you're going to be late, let the people know, because one, they're not going to be appreciative that you're late, but they will want to know what's going on. Now, another thing that might upset your German friends is if you get a little yiny, okay, which I like to say is yine is yes and no, ja and nein put together, okay? It's kind of like, yeah, no, I'm not sure. Look, Germans do not like uncertainty. They do not like risk. They want to know what's going on. They want the certainty of, are you coming or not? And if you're kind of flippy floppy, if you're thinking,
yeah, listen, I hate people who are flippy floppy. You just go straight out that window. If you want, you come. If you don't want, you say, maybe if I'm come, I will let you know. But people who like, maybe yes, maybe no, I don't want to hurt your feelings. Sorry, my friend, I don't want to talk to you. Please, leave.
about ghosting your German friends, that stuff doesn't happen here, okay? You need to be more like, yes, I'm going to do it, no, I'm going to not, because if you're not, that kind of upsets them, because they want to make sure all their plans are set, okay? And I think one of the things that's important for you to know is, since the Germans are very direct, they're not insulted if you're direct to them. So if you don't want to do something or you can't do something, don't try to figure out an excuse, just let them know, hey, I can't come, and they'll be okay with that. But just telling them yes and then not showing up, the whole ghosting thing, not cool here in Germany, okay? So have a heads up. Now, the third way you can upset Germans when you're here is if you assume that everybody in Germany is from Bavaria and wears lederhosen. People wear lederhosen at Oktoberfest, and most of those are actually tourists, okay? Germany is a very diverse country. I mean, going to Munich and Bavaria is a very different experience than going to Hamburg or coming here to Freiburg or going to Berlin. You have such variety in this country that when they think that people are thinking they're all the same and they're all Bavarians with the big beer steins and stuff, that doesn't go over very well. And if you actually know Germans, you'll know that if they're not from Bavaria, they like
and everybody eats bratwurst, yeah?
to make fun of the Bavarians. Now, another thing that tourists do that might upset the locals, and it definitely will upset a few omas, grandmas, and opas, grandpas.
Okay, just a quick note about the Bavarian thing. I see as a stereotypical, massive stereotypical thinking. It's the same like thinking that in Russia bears walk on the street. By the way, this is true. This is true in Tomsk. I know a person from Tomsk, and he says it's so cold out there that bears walk on the street. But some people think that in Moscow bears walk on the street. Yeah, this is the same to think that all Americans are dumb. You know, because not all Americans are dumb. There are part of Americans who are educated, there are part Americans who are dumb. And the same with Germany. All the Germans are from Bavaria and wear lederhosen. This is crazy.
Along the way is if you jaywalk. And when I talk about jaywalking, I'm not saying like the middle of the road. I'm saying when you're at the crosswalk and the little Ampelmännchen, the street light guy is there telling you don't walk, and you go. I mean, I lived in Germany for a number of years, and when I've done that, like, people really put their arm out and stop me, and they're like, what are you doing?
Seriously?
Sein Vorbild für die Kinder. Be an example for the children. I'm like, there's no kids around here. There's no cars. What's going on? No. Follow the rules. Otherwise...
Seriously? It's so bad that literally unknown people can stop you like that with the arm? My gosh, it would trigger me. I'm a person who doesn't care. If I see green light, I just go. I don't care if somebody is stopping me, because if there's no car, why to stop? Why to stop? Why to wait for something? But the idea of giving example for next generations, this is phenomenal. I love it. I like it. This is a social responsibility, which is lacking here in Latvia. I love it a lot. I love it.
They're going to be upset. And crossing the street against the light is one of those things. There's even a saying, by rot musst du stehen, by grün darfst du gehen, which is by red, you have to stay. But by green, you're allowed to go, all right? So just know that, young, old, male, female, whatever, you just know the Germans are like, no, we're gonna wait until the light lets us go, okay? Another thing that might upset your German friends when you're here, and this is one thing that my students that have studied in Germany have brought up to me, and when I've had students that work with German exchange students, and that is, you might upset them if you don't agree with them on certain things, because Germans like to do a lot of research. They want to make sure they know as much as they can before they make decisions, so they feel that they have the best answer possible. And if you don't agree with them, they don't understand why you wouldn't, because they've done all this research. So that's where I've seen in business settings and group project settings where people have gotten some upset feelings from both the Germans and from the locals. So just have a heads up with that. But don't think the Germans are all stiff and no fun. They will do parties. They will have a fun time with the party. And one thing I want to tell you, though, is you might upset people if you don't follow the party rules, okay? Because
that's kind of interesting about researches. It just tells that people are thinking how to invest the money and where to invest the money, which is cool, which is awesome. And like I do it also. As well, I'm thinking he's talking about overall majority of Germans that are doing that, or people educated Germans are doing that.
A German friend of yours invites you to a party, they're inviting you. Not you and your friend and your other friends. No. It's very much just you are invited. There's no plus one. If you want a plus one, you need to ask them, and they'll probably say no, okay, or 9. But just know that they're very specific when they do ask you to come to a party, okay? So don't overdo it. Also, I learned this when I lived here for a number of years, is if you're going to be having a party, let's say you're staying here, you're going to school here, you're moving here, and you want to have a party and it's in your apartment building, you need to let your neighbors know that you're going to have that party. I mean, you don't have to invite them, but you need to let them know it's going to happen. Otherwise, they might be a little upset, which I learned from a lady dumping a bucket of water into my apartment. So
wow.
Just have a heads up on that one.
If I want to make a party, I have to talk with my neighbors all the time, like, or this is just again, it depends of the household, it depends from the people. This is crazy because in Latvia, most of the time neighbors don't communicate as well, and if there's a party, there's a party, and sometimes if they are too loud in the night, you have two choices: either call the cops or go there and talk with them. Sometimes it's too scary to talk with them.
You might see an upset German, and this isn't your fault at all, this is their fault, is if you're taking a train on a Friday or a Sunday when they're really, really busy, and you have a seat reservation, and you go to your seat reservation on the ICE, and somebody's sitting in that seat. And you tell them, Entschuldigung, das ist meins. Like, excuse me, this is mine. Oh, they're not going to be happy because they got this seat and they're figuring no one's going to show up in it, so they're going to take it without a reservation. Don't be surprised if they ask you to show your reservation to prove it's your seat, and then they'll look at you like, oh, you took my seat. No, lady, didn't take your seat. I spent the €4 to get the reservation, all right? So do have a heads up for that. Now, sometimes you don't even realize.
I don't know. I think it's not the German thing again. I think it's just overall douchebag people who don't care about other people, and they just don't want to. They want to get things for free, and if a person, if the seat is reserved, it means that somebody will come. They paid for it. There's no chance that it will. Most of the time, there's gonna be like somebody coming, yeah, and. These people just hope that nobody comes and they take the seat. And this is not a very polite way, I would say.
You're upsetting people when you travel, and that's okay. And the Germans have a fantastic way of letting you know that you messed up. And that's when you hear, hallo. When you hear someone say hello really loud, I mean, if it's soft, it's hello, it's like hello. But if it's...
I need to take this into my vocabulary. Hello. Because some people are annoying me sometimes in public. These people who in public, they are having mobile phones and they are talking to somebody on the loud. And I just want to come to them and say, hello, you can put your earphones on. Or here, have a €5, buy yourself earphones, please. Or just put the phone at your ear. Nobody wants to hear this, please.
hello, it's like, hello, moron. You're doing something
Moron.
wrong. Whether you went in the wrong door to the museum, or you're in the wrong bathroom, or you're doing something you're not supposed to, or your kids are doing something stupid. Look, that hello will let you know that you upset somebody, all right? So just have a heads up when you hear that, because you'll be like, what's something here? It's just a way they get your attention, all right? Now, another thing you might do that might hurt your German friends' feelings is insinuate that they're cheap. Now, Germans are cool if you say they're frugal, they're economical, no problem with that. But if you insinuate that they're cheap, that's when they're like, hey, we're not cheap, we've got money. I'm like, I know. But the thing is if you talk to, in Canada and the US, you talk to waiters about tipping, they don't like German tourists because they don't tip as well. Now, they leave some money, but they don't usually leave the 50 to 20% like you're supposed to. They'll leave like 5% or...
So listen, straight away, question to auditory of my German auditory. Would you tip a waiter who serves you bad? Let me know in comment section. Waiter looks at you, thinks that he doesn't want to be there, he doesn't know how to answer your questions, he doesn't know the menu, and would you tip this person, like, just because you have to tip or not? Let me know, please.
$3 on a $100 bill, so it is one of those things that if you insinuate like, dude, that's kind of cheap, you'll see them be upset. And I'm sure in the comments below, you'll see those things there. Or you might invite them over to a party, like, hey, we're all bringing a potluck over, bring some food, and they might show up with some Maggi spaghetti instead of something else. So don't insinuate they're cheap. It won't go over well, all right? Just say, very economical choice, very frugal choice, smart business move, okay?
Very
so
economical
have a heads
choice.
up with that. Now, another...
Because in my opinion, people who have enough money and never had a lack of money, or have a pretty good self-esteem, never bring up this question that somebody is cheap, and they would never think about it even. This is what I think.
Thing that you'll learn very quickly is a way you're going to upset your German friends is if you try to take their food or their drink. Because in some countries when you order food, like everybody's food's kind of everybody else's and we can try this. Like,
in which country is that? Name the countries when you order a food and your food is everybody else. Please let me know, man. Not in Latvia for sure, but don't do it like this over here, please.
We're in Italy, like, oh, try this, have some of this polenta. Portugal, it's like every plate is everybody's, right?
Seriously.
In Germany, it's not that way. That's my bratwurst. That is my spätzle. That is my beer.
This
You
is
don't get
normal.
it. And so if you go and take some, especially without asking, it's going to upset them. And even if you do ask, they say yes, just know in their mind, they're like, ich wollte nein sagen. I wanted to say no, but they were very polite and said yes. So just know they don't like sharing their stuff, okay? If you've gotten this far in the video, another thing you might notice that Germans...
It's not about sharing their stuff, it's just sharing the food that you bought for yourself. And only if we all will manage to communicate that we want to put our money together and buy food for everybody, then we buy food for everybody. Hey. But jokes aside, yeah, in Latvia we don't do it, this kind of stuff. If you want somebody's food, you first ask, just don't take it.
Might not like, and that you might upset them with, is if you point out any of the eccentricities of the Germans and German culture. So look in the comments below and you'll notice some comments of people like pointing out some things I'm messing up and how they're going to be right about it, okay? Now, another way you might upset Germans when you come here is if you recycle wrong. I mean, I lived here a number of years and the recycle program here is legit. The Grüne Punkt, it's like this little like arrow going around, it's called the green point. They have lots and lots of different kinds of recycling here. So it's not just paper and plastic, it's paper, plastic, glass, different kinds of glass, all kinds of stuff that's out there. They have that set up and people are very serious about it. So you want to make sure you're putting the right stuff in the right recycle bin and the right garbage going in the right place, because they do a really good job with that and it really upsets people.
And also Germans love their nature, looks like, because in Latvia we have a bit of recycling, we have the same deposit system as you guys. And it at least makes the nature cleaner and there's less bottles around and it's phenomenal. I love it. And it's awesome when a country is taking care of their nature.
when you don't. And there's things economically that will get you to incentivize you to make sure you're recycling correctly, because they have these things called a fund, a deposit, like on beer glasses beer glasses, but like beer bottles and soda bottles and stuff like that. So you don't just throw it away, you take it back, get your money back so they can recycle it easier. Okay, so be aware of that one. Now, my next one for you that might upset the Germans when you're here is if you drive in Germany not like a German. Look, Germans are very much, we're about our Auto, our car, right? And so they've got the Autobahn when they're going way faster than you think you are. So move over, because you staying in the left lane, that Indiana drivers, you can't do that here in Germany. You got to stay to the right, because people will pass you by. No matter how fast you think you're going, someone else is going to zoom past you in a Porsche, a BMW, or Mercedes, all right? And Germans do get upset when people don't drive the German way when they're here. So I do recommend maybe take a class about driving or watch some videos on driving in Germany before you come, because
Or just start thinking with your head. If the left lane is for overtaking, then the right lane is for slower riders. Yeah, in Latvia, people get very angry on if you are very slow on overtaking lane. This is what I did a lot of times, and people were very angry at me. And I get angry also. I don't judge them, you know. So it goes both ways.
then you'll be better prepared and less likely to upset and get, not necessarily road rage, but just upset Germans driving next to you. And also, don't expect a really good cup holder for your big gulp in a German car. And they don't understand why, okay? So
No
leave
cup
that
holders
there,
in German
right?
car? God damn. No, I'm not buying German cars anymore. Just kidding.
And
Or
then
not.
I want to finish off by another thing that really upsets Germans, and that is if you make Nazi jokes, okay? The history of Germany and the Nazi National Socialist Party that was in power here for a number of years, and World War II and the Holocaust and everything, is a stain on the world history, not just German history, but the world's history. And if you make light of that, you make Nazi jokes, you make Hitler jokes and stuff like that, that does not go over well here. People do not like that. That is something that they're ashamed of themselves. And you may think it's a fun joke, I'm poking fun at things. It's not. It is not something that you joke about when you are here, okay? Because that will upset the locals, and I just want you to know that, all right?
I think this is more about toxic people and people who don't respect others, other culture, other countries, people, and and this is how they want to make fun of them. And I don't like it, and nobody would like it, because why to do it? They are bad jokes. No need to joke that.
So those are some ways that you might upset your German friends when you're here in Germany. But what are some ways you've accidentally upset some of your German friends? Let us know in the comment section below. Also, I have another video on how Germans...
Oh, if I start telling you guys how I upset my German friends, this story will end only tomorrow, so I won't even begin. Thank you for watching, and also leave your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know what is true from this video, what is not true, and see you in the next reaction videos. Bye.